Whenever the sound came from the house, the servants knew something was wrong. They'd see everyone scrambling to hide all the food. They were terrified that they might miss something, until they hid the last morsel and Buck, the mischief maker, made his appearance. But the dog's sensitive nose caught on to what was going on in the cupboard, and he looked at the servants with a pitiful look on his face. But the trick was no longer effective and he was kicked out of the kitchen again. And Buck was so arrogant because he had a rich owner who spoiled him. He was helpless, but he had no choice but to yawn and drag him out of the room and close the door before the mischief maker could get in. But that didn't stop Buck, who, as usual, was about to enter through the window. But this time the rich man stopped him because it was his birthday and he wanted Buck to be obedient for a day. But before the rich man could say anything, Buck's words fell on deaf ears as he was attracted by a rabbit. When he came back at noon, he saw the food on the table, and more importantly, the seats were empty. Buck licked his tongue and decided to give his master a birthday surprise. After a long time, he wagged his tail and waddled over to the table and sat on his ass in the seat, looking at the chicken leg in his mouth. Everyone realized something was wrong. As expected, the table was in a mess. The rich man was in a state of despair. Luckily, the dog had left a chicken leg, and so it was that Buck was locked out for the first time for the night, not realizing that it would be for good. Late at night, the gardener came to Buck and lured him into the car with food. Buck naively thought it was a joke, and after a second of hesitation, he jumped right in. But as soon as he turned his head, the cage was locked and Buck couldn't open it. And then he realized that the gardener had sold him to a dog trader. Finally, looking at the castle, Barker regretted it, but it was no use regretting. As the cages changed hands, Barker finally saw the light of day. When Buck finally regained his sight, he saw a world of ice and snow, and he was at the end of the wilderness.